Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another exciting week of Radio Melee. As usual, your hosts, myself and PPMD, and this week joining us is the most badass Captain Falcon on the planet, who had a ridiculous performance at I wanted to say Shine Riptide. Johnny S2J, the legend Johnny Kim. What's up, dude? How you doing, Johnny?
Oh, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing
Very
good,
good.
man.
Yeah.
Glad we finally got you on. Been thinking about it for a while, but hey, the timing worked out immaculately. I mean, you
Yeah.
absolutely popped off. Almost popped off even harder. I mean, game 5 with Plup and Jmook, and then running it all the way back on Zane. I mean,
I went on Zane.
I know. I'm sure I saw you move back in your chair. I know you wanted at least one of those, but I think it was still really impressive to do that, right?
Yeah, totally. That was probably best I played, so I'll take it. So we take
And I
this.
mean, it shows you could do even more than that, which I think is really exciting too.
I was watching, I was watching on Twitch, and it was the first time, Johnny, I've been watching you play Melee for like 10 years. It was the first time I've really seen, like, in chat, like, there was like a lot of people in chat that were like, Johnny might win this one. Like, Johnny might actually take this major home. Which would, you know what I mean? Like, I've never, because you've always been fucking really good. But like, this was the first time where there was like a serious contingent of people that were like, dude, Johnny could win the fucking tournament. It was pretty inspiring. It was quite sick. So I had a really good time watching you for sure. But I mean, we've known each other for a long time. I've always been a fan. It's kind of cool too, because like, talking to Scar and stuff. Like, obviously, Scar also being him being a Falcon main and being a big fan of yours over the years. It's been really cool to see how you've kind of just like really innovated your gameplay. And I remember, even talking about the Sheik matchup, because we're talking about those Plup and Jmook sets that were really close. Like, I remember you used to hate that matchup. I mean, I'm sure you still hate it, but I remember you didn't used to be good at it. And now it seems like you can actually go toe to toe, like, with pretty much all the best Sheiks. You pretty much beat the other ones, like, like Spark. Like, it seems like you usually beat Spark. So it's really motivating to see kind of your evolution over the years. But yeah, PP, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Did you want to keep going, Toph? Sorry.
well, I was just gonna plug, by the way, for everybody who's tuning in live on Twitch right now, especially the people who are in Johnny's chat. Y'all should know that if you use !Radio Melee in either my chat or PPMD's chat, you can hop into the Discord server that we use for the show, and you can ask us anything you want. You can hop on the show live on air. You guys know the drill by now, but basically you can ask us whatever you want or give us whatever hot takes you have. And we will basically, the floor will basically be yours. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. So please do join us.
And I'll tell you right now, thank you, Toph, for that. And I'll also tell you guys right now, everyone trying to call in, we've already got, I see one very interesting caller waiting.
I see two interesting callers, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I think we got some good discussion already lined up. People want to talk to this man, S2J, right now. And but before we let everyone in to do that, I have a question that I'd really like to know about S2J, and that's about how you kind of prepared for this, because like Toph was saying, you've been a strong player for a long time, and now there's these leaps that I feel like you're making, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think a lot of this kind of started almost like a year and a half ago. And I remember, and again, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but I remember there would be these periods of time where you would say, okay, I'm going to pull back from tournaments. I'm going to rework my game. I'm going to bring more stuff in. And then you would come back and you would start doing better. And your results would jump from where they were before. You'd just be adding more to your game. And I think you've done this a couple times now. And I think the most recent time, even before you were like fully back into the swing of things, I saw various people talking about how you'd added so much to your game and how you were advancing, what you were doing with Falcon so much. And so to me, that was, people could really kind of almost, if you knew where to look, you could see, these kind of results almost coming in a way. But I was curious because I think most people don't take this approach to improvement. So I was kind of curious how much of this is true, what that was like for you, and what your perspective on all that was.
Sure. Where to begin?
Yeah,
I mean, the way I approach Melee, I'm always trying to like level up my game, I'm always trying to like innovate. And when I go to locals or play friendlies with top players, I'm usually trying new stuff out. And I'd say the big difference maker for like recent times was that I had a big change in like overall approach to the game, especially in tournament. Like to go more into detail, I'll review matches, I'll study like defense of other players, but when I play like serious sets, I try to improv my entire offensive game every time. And that's basically it. I try to like just keep them guessing. I think in the Slippy era, everyone's like kind of doing the same shit,
Yeah.
or the
Right.
same stuff. Like I
Mhm,
mean, it's very like well tuned now, so
Yeah.
it's a good like approach to the meta and good counter. That's just the way I see it. So
Mhm.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about those times where you would pull back from tournaments for a little while and then you would come back? Can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing in that time?
um, nothing much. It's just like sometimes I need to take a break. It's real life
Mhm.
stuff,
Huh.
and it's good to. I think it's good to like not overgrind. And
I'm going to speculate
Yeah.
here. This might not be so obvious to people. Like when you watch people on stream, you kind of see this part of their body, and then you see a little bit of their chest. But I've seen Johnny in person a couple times. Johnny, you've been working out, right?
oh
Have
yeah,
you been working out? You've been working
Oh
out.
yeah.
Okay. Because, dude, no, I've been seeing Johnny at tournaments, and I'm like, dude, Johnny looks kind of jacked. Like, it's not that obvious. It's not as obvious on stream
Huh.
because you can't really tell like how someone looks on stream because it's just the front profile.
Mm.
But I know you've been working at it, and there's something we've been talking about. We had Zane on the other week, and he was talking about how he felt, right, PP? He was saying
Yeah,
kind of his
yeah.
workout regimen was helping him out with
And that
like
was helping
stamina
him
at
stay more
tournaments.
clutch and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that's had an impact, for you at all? Like just exercise
um,
or
yeah. I'd say it's had a huge impact. Like I
huge
remember
impact?
like a year ago plus, I always like burn out at events. I get like too
Mm.
tired or like whatever, and then like I play like crap, and then I lost to the main tournament that like really made me commit was main stage because I got like 3-0'd by Zach, and then I
Okay.
was like I like hate losing to Zach. F this, F that. I'm just gonna
You can
like
cuss on the show. You're like
okay,
it's just that PP just doesn't cuss, but I cuss.
Yeah,
So it's
no,
okay,
fine.
it's
okay,
fine.
okay, okay. Good to
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I like committed to like cardio and also lifting too, because
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
really good on the wrist health and
Yeah.
in general, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I made like a huge commit to like daily working out, and I never want to lose because I'm too out of shape and I got too tired. Like I hated that so much that never again, basically.
And it sounds like, if you ever need motivation, you could just go back and think of that loss to him again. And it sounds like that'll just keep you going to the gym because you
I
you still feel very passionate about
absolutely
it.
hate losing to Zach no matter what.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm like lucky for sure.
God,
All right.
it's really
Anyways, yeah.
fucking and Joey. Dude, it's really funny. Sorry, because you said like main stage. I was like, who did Johnny lose to main stage? I was like, was that? Yeah, and it was like, and I was ready for you to say you got upset by, like someone, it's like someone worse than Zach. I was not ready for you to say that you lost to Zach of all people. I'm like, wait, Zach's like not that bad. Sorry, that's really funny to me. I thought it was gonna be like, you lost to fucking whatever. Anyway, yeah, you get
Yeah.
it. That's funny as
Yeah.
fuck. That's actually really funny.
Is it because we don't have to dig into it, but I'm just curious. Is it
No,
just
let's dig
because?
into it.
Yeah, okay,
Because
we'll
it's
dig
funny.
in.
It's
Is
funny.
is it because Zach would gloat? He'd be like, "Yes, I beat him." Like what? Like, is it something like what's going on here? Makes it so powerful.
He definitely doesn't gloat.
Okay.
Doesn't
That
really,
almost makes it worse.
yeah, doesn't really talk smack, especially after. I don't know. I think it's just like we both have like this competitive spirit, and like we both think we should never lose to each other.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
nothing crazy,
So
means that
it's kind of like a
yeah,
rivalry thing, then maybe.
Oh, it's a rivalry. Yeah.
I guess so.
I guess so.
I don't want to call it that, but
I understand. I get that. That's
The
fair.
best rivalries are the ones that they don't want to call rivalries. I'm just gonna throw that. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Maybe so.
Dude, it's really funny because speaking of Zach, when I was getting back, I started going to the gym like again on a very regular basis 2-3 months ago, and I told I actually told my lifting buddy Laudandis, who we've been going to the gym together. And I
Yes.
told him, dude, at the end of the day, man, you know what makes me really want to work out and get fit is the fact that, like, because I remember how Zach was when he was like 15, right? And, he was this little, adorable little whatever teenager kid. And then he started lifting with Bobby Siege, and he started getting huge. And like, dude, the way I think about it is like, man, if SFAT is fucking ripped, like, I can't be letting him. I used to be in better shape than him for sure, and now I'm definitely not. So the way I see it with Zach is like, man, if Zach's gonna look like that, and he doesn't even eat meat, so I gotta look better, at least than how I do. Like, so I also use Zach as my motivation in a weird way.
Well, you guys, California's in trouble when Zach retires, man. Everyone wants to beat this guy.
I know, we're all gonna lose our motivation, and we're all gonna be just sitting around. It's really funny. Yeah, Zach does not gloat. That is true. It's funny because he's so respectful. You almost want him to gloat.
Yeah, he's like too nice. I'm like,
he's too nice.
Makes me hate him like even more. After
fuck. Dude. Oh, so before we get into our callers, because I know we got some spicy callers. Ready to jump on it. And also, by the way, for those of you who do want to talk to us, you can literally ask Johnny anything you want about his illustrious Falcon career. So make sure you use !Radio Melee. I always see people in chat, and they'll be in chat, and they got some interesting questions in my chat. And I'm like, bro, how come I've never seen you guys dial into the program then? It's not that hard. Just type !Radio Melee. It takes 2 seconds.
I don't know.
So, before we get into our callers, the first of which I think will be a pretty spicy caller. Let's check out the community voice responses from last week. We did have, I think it was Mech on, right? And Mech asked, if you could elevate anyone on the planet, past or present, let's say, to number one in the world, and just kind of see what that would be like as like a weird science experiment, who would it be? Right? And here are some of our responses.
Yes, I love the first one. They're with me,
dude. I'm kind of down.
I guess the last one's also with me. This is great. There's so many people with me on this one. But I think Isaiah is just objectively the right answer. I'm here for it. I've been here for it. That guy was wild.
Isaiah's really good.
The way he would have done things in Melee, even in modern day, would have been pretty cool and made people think about stuff differently, which would have been hype.
He was always an innovator.
Yeah.
So like if he had that style today, like he'd be crazy.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun.
Johnny, you've been around long enough to be an Isaiah fan, I assume.
Yep, definitely first favorite player.
That's sick.
Yeah, as I started playing the game, so yeah.
Is that still who you would answer this? Would you still answer Isaiah for this question now, or would you pick someone else?
I want to pick Isaiah, even though it'd be really sick if he obviously came back and was number one, because he was like arguably like a genius of the game and the character.
Agree.
To give a more like modern answer, I'd probably just pick like a cool, flashy player who's like competing nowadays, but seeing them number one would just make it that much better. Like my vote would probably be like someone like for Fox, let's say like Moki.
Yeah.
For Falco, Magi.
Yeah, I feel that.
Absolutely. I mean, that would absolutely be great for the game for sure.
Definitely.
The second answer here, I think, is also really exciting. The reign of Amsa. He's an incredibly talented and deserving player. Would love to see a world where more players are inspired to pick up Yoshi and develop their own styles. Might even mean more tournaments in Japan, which is a region that we don't see much of these days. Great points all around. Amsa, very fun player. Also, very wholesome man. I think he'd be, good face for the game, and I think developing the Japanese region would be really cool. So I'm here for all that.
Yeah, definitely a good face of the game. I feel like Amsa, he's such an easy player to root for because his whole he's just such a grinder. Like he's just always, I don't know, like even his streams, he'll just be laughing. He's like some crazy specific counterplay to some crazy specific situation, and then next tournament he actually busts it out. I'm just like, dude, he's just always working on his Yoshi. It's definitely pretty cool to see. Salvo, I assume this is Salvo Kai.
Oh, this is
chat,
funny.
says, they'd have to make number one Masahiro Sakurai himself, as a person most intimate with the creation of the countless mechanics. Still being pushed today, and absolutely sauced up how Sakurai would stir up the entire melee scene as every player tests themselves and nothing to do with God of Melee. The juiciest of matchup narratives are produced from 100T.
He just keeps adding more.
Sakurai, more sponsors, but just imagine 69% 100T Hal Sakurai on the reads, explaining in full detail the design and balance of his character as he used them to stomp slippy kids. Yeah, that'd be pretty tight. You know, it's funny. I have a video going on YouTube in like a day or two. Actually, it might even already be on there, but I did a video on like the Melee community's long and turbulent relationship with Sakurai and how we've kind of viewed him over the years. And I feel like it got more favorable, you know, and more. I remember there was a time, you know, when basically Brawl came out and, you know, Melee players were mostly Sakurai haters. And now he's kind of like, I kind of see the vision with that guy. And I do think he's a lot of really interesting things to say. And I think he's got a really interesting take on competition. As weird as that would sound to somebody in 2011 or 2012. But that would be pretty crazy. And last we got Boppy, first choice PP without a doubt. There you go, PP.
Me?
Having such an intelligent, cerebral number one is super interesting. For someone who hasn't already been number one, I think I would choose Pew Pew. He always brought a joy to the game that made him easy to root for. Yeah, Pew Pew is also
He was a big fan favorite, absolutely.
Although he was technically, there's an argument that he was arguably number one in doubles.
Yeah.
There's an argument. I mean, it's never really, you know, you can't really rank it per se, but people kind of felt like PewFat was the best team, and then, you know, and then obviously there's two people on a team, but
right.
It
always comes back to Zach. It always comes back to Zach doesn't it?
It was really funny because it always comes back. Every time I'd hang out with, like, if it was like the NorCal guys and like Mango, if Mango would come visit NorCal, Mango would always be like, Kev, when are you gonna stop carrying Zach? He'd always rip on it. He'd always say that shit. Mango's like, when are we gonna team and just be the best team? When are you gonna stop carrying? Everyone knows you're carrying Zach at all these events. I thought it was so funny.
It's funny. It's funny. So
it's funny as fuck. Yeah. I mean, Kevin definitely was the guy where, like, when I don't know. I mean, I get it, you know, Zach. Not to go on a little tangent here, but I remember one time, fucking me and Silent Wolf played them in a double set, and I remember Kevin hit this nasty zero death on me, and like I remember it was in the middle of Battlefield, like SFAT and Silent Wolf were like they were fighting, and people started a combo over here. And it was like that. I don't know if you guys have seen that video where it's like it's like a bunch of people dancing, and then it's like spot the gorilla, like a gorilla comes in midway. And imagine we were like the gorilla because he started comboing me over here, and he comboed me through their 1v1.
Oh wow!
Over to this side of the stage, and Ken comboed me over there. And I was like, how did you make that work? Like, what the? It's like there were two foxes in the way that should have somehow interrupted that combo, and you still somehow it blew my mind. I've never felt so outclassed. It was kind of crazy.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Kevin was goated in teams, even though he played Marth of all characters too.
Even though he played Marth.
I couldn't believe it. How good he was in teams, yeah.
Yeah. No one's done good with Marth in teams at all, really. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Well,
but okay.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness we got our discussion about mech out of the way. Let's bring in our first caller.
That's right.
Oh, look who it is. It's Mech. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the program.
What's your question for all of us, particularly S2J today?
How's it going, guys? S2J, congratulations on the run. That was amazing. I think it's a matter of time before you're taking those. So, congrats again. My question is, what gives you the intuition to play aggressively versus defensively in a given situation for high intensity matches? I see that you're sort of master of both styles, able to go in when needed, able to like wave dash back at a shield. And what gives you the intuition to what are your thoughts on that?
Let me think about that for a few seconds. I kind of just play not to be lame, but I kind of just play off of like feel completely. So it's mostly things like getting off like practice, and I think at heart, when I play my best, I'm just like a slightly more aggressive player than not, you know. Even though I can like balance it out, you know. And I really don't know. Like I just kind of wing it. I turn my brain off and just play, So it's all gained from like practice, and just like once you get to like play really good people, it matters less about like, oh, I'm fighting a Sheik or a Marth or a Puff. It's just like, how do I beat the player, And then you try to like, I try to pick up little things as I play, and the way I play too, I mean, best. I think I mix in a lot of like dubious stuff. So you can't always like be like predictable. Sometimes doing the fourth best choice is good too.
Hmm.
And he's got to like
Right.
see how it works against like different people, and try to figure it out from there. Yeah, I try to play like fast and crazy, and try to make most of my stuff good. Some of it will be bad, and like I said, dubious. But to me, that's good if you want some good bad stuff too.
Yeah, and I was wondering to kind of dig in, maybe a specific would help. So like when you were playing, we'll say Zane for example,
Mhm.
and how did you kind of know how to be more aggressive versus defensive? Because Zane can be really good at keeping you out, and then when he decides to go in, it can surprise. So how were you able to handle that with him?
Uh, for Zane, I don't know. Like to me, Marth beats Falcon in neutral, especially someone of Zane's caliber. So you gotta pull some shit out of your ass to like outplay him in neutral, and then hit him really hard.
Mhm.
For in terms of like reading his aggression, I don't know. It's a matchup where like both people have trouble like getting the opening. They usually have to do some kind of like commit, and if the commit doesn't work, then they'll probably be opened up, and that's the case for Zane. Like
Mhm.
Mark too. Even if like Zane does like a really smart like dash tech, if I just CC it or block it, then his ass is grass. Like so
Yeah, that's yeah.
so
I don't know.
so so overall, like I know Zane's like obviously like a really smart player, and he's trying to mix in two styles, like ones where his OG styles like dash dance, get the grab and like punish game you. The second one's like more
Mhm.
of a scrap heavy style, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So he'll definitely mix in like when he feels the time is right to be aggressive, and then you kind
Right.
of see it coming. The nature of Falcon Marth is like, oh, you committed a little too hard and didn't work out. Well, now you're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, even Zane, like, I assume, yeah, because you're right. I think it's funny because from the outside looking in, it felt like what made him a lot, but because he used to really have a problem with Falcon, back in like 2018, 2019, and obviously he's gone a lot better at it. And I kind of feel like, from my perspective, it felt like his dash dance style just wasn't really very good against Falcon, because if
Oh
you're
no,
too
it
telegraphed with it.
was horrible because he played like Falcon like he was fighting like a Fox or Falco, and like just dash dancing hoping for like a mistake.
Yeah,
That stuff doesn't like fly at all. So
right. Like
obviously he
if
got way
it,
better, but that
mhm.
was like his OG.
So it seems like now when you fight him, you're kind of like watching to figure out like, okay, what, like, stylistically, what's he kind of going for, and then, okay, how do I beat that?
Yeah, I mean that's the nature of Falcon Marth, where
Hmm.
I still think it's skewed towards Marth in general for neutral, but it's like an RPS neutral, and you got to play the player in that match. Every Marth has their own unique like flow chart, if you want to say that, or their
Right.
habits. So and there's usually like an option that can win. So once you figure out like the way they want to play, then neutral becomes more equal. I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's how I play. I try to like
Hmm.
out neutral people, and probably my forte. So
There
you know.
was a really sick, and I almost want to ask the editor, sorry, not our editor, our producer, if like we can pull it up. There's a really sick uh, stock from this weekend that I thought you played. It's actually like two stocks low key, but it was that game 4 against Plup. Um, and I almost want to. Quinn, do we think if I sent this to you, do you think you could somehow put it on the display here? I almost want to like. I felt like this was the best example of you mixing offense and defense because I felt like because you were basically just to set the for people who didn't like see the set. This was game 4 at the end of Dreamland, and you were at 100 on your last stock, and Plup had two stocks at like I don't know mid percent. And the thing that I always think sucks as playing Falcon in these percent at that kind of percent window is you got to deal with, obviously, first you got to take the first stock, but then when the Sheik is at 0 and you're at 100, in my mind, the percentage really matters because there's like certain things you can't really go for anymore. Like, for example, if you hit their shield, it's really risky to go for Gentleman even because, you know, they could hold down. And so it really felt like you were playing this kind of cat and mouse play style where like you knew, it looked to me like you were being like really respectful of like the CC, the out of shield, and you were kind of weaving in and out. And I almost want to see if we can pull this up and just kind of, we can even just play it. But do you think about percents at all when it comes to, you know, what Mech is talking about, like the offense defense skew? Like, I feel like, you know, with Falcon, it seems like you have to care a lot more than, for example, like Fox or Falco, you've got Shine. Shine can kind of bail you out. You can't really CC Shine that good, no matter who you are. Whereas, you know, obviously Falcon, and then, you know, you've got characters like Marth and Sheik who they've got enough range to kind of just poke from outside that range. But it feels like as Falcon, like you have to be really like smart and elegant about it. And I don't know how much of that is intentional, but I guess as we play this clip, you can talk about it. Yeah, it'd be like a little bit around here, like a little bit after. I don't know, like maybe go to like 13 minutes, like 13:00 or something, like right around here, and pretty much till the end of the game. I thought this game was like really, really impressive. I was because I thought it was over. I was like, dude, this is such a hard comeback to make.
So your question is like, how do you, or like percentages, right?
Yeah, like how much do you kind of weigh that stuff, you know, when it comes to that balance between offense and defense? Like, how do you think about it? This stuff right here, like all the shit you did right here was insane to me.
Such good spacing over here. Like
I'd
he's
say,
like getting the chip. Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty matters a lot. I don't know why dash attacks. Obviously, you see me like shake my head a lot, but
Prime mistake.
Yeah, it was a mistake, and then
even like the rollbacks, like there was a moment earlier in the side where, you know, you nair his shield and you like roll back, or they're like you don't go for the full Gentleman. It's like jab jab, and it's like I gotta bail out, like jab jab dash back. You know, like those little mix ups. Like obviously you're not gonna open them up, but like you're staying safe, and then eventually you just get it.
Yeah, the spacing there was incredible because Sheik and chime in. In this matchup, she can CC like everything. Like I literally only go for stomp at 0 because you back air, even you knee, and she's gonna get a grab off of it. So you were able to, Johnny, get her past the percent, and then you capitalize with, you know, you got it, man. Yeah, go ahead.
well, yeah. To answer percentage questions, definitely I care about it. Some matches matters a little less. Like Spacey's, sometimes it feels like any percent you get hit, you die. And then, but like for like Sheik and Marth, I'd say I definitely played differently, and you know, I played into like not get grabbed to see how many times I'll like try to bait him a roll. In terms of like it kind of ties back to playing the player too. Like
Right.
Pup, he's a Falcon assassin, but he's also pretty like he's pretty idiosyncratic the way he approaches like a lot of matchups. One example is he does a lot of aerials too, right? So I felt like his go-to would probably be like trying to hit me with the aerial near the shield or whatever. So
Right.
and so in that stock, that was what I kind of bet on, and you know, actually, it did kind of like work out. So
yeah. It really felt like you were like almost trying to like get him to like nair out a shield. Like, give me that nair out a shield, so I get something to go off of. You know, like you got to get her to pull the trigger somehow.
Yep. Sometimes I would like sometimes I would like Gentleman, assuming he would like try to aerial out a shield, you know.
Right.
So, and it works.
Right.
So,
To me, that stock was, to me at least, like that comeback, that game was like, to me that was the most impressive stock you played all tournament. Like I was losing my mind when you won that game. I was like, dude, that's crazy. Like I thought you were so done that game. I thought it was 3-1.
It was like crazy. There's more melee. Game 5 now, get to see like there's a chance, and the last game was so close too. That was so exciting to watch.
Not to bring it up, but yeah, That stock was crazy. That stock made me feel. I was just like, dude, I've never seen this level of precision. Like it was like, because you're walking a razor's edge for like 30 seconds. It's fucking crazy. You know, anything will kill you. Nair will kill you. Fair will kill you. Any tilt will kill you. Down smash will kill you. Grab will kill you. It's just
There's
like,
a moment
fuck,
you aerialed on their shield and you did like a single jab and then dashed away and like you used that pressure to like they now you just see how they're gonna react and respond to that. That was really cool. It's something that I'd never really see done. So
it reminds me of like I play a lot of different fighting games, and to me, like there's like offense and defense is always different in different fighting games. Like you've got games like Marvel, right, where you can go really, really ham, obviously, because obviously the game is fucked up, right? Like you're summoning your assists, like you got the hidden missiles coming, like you can make people block for 30 seconds. And then you've got games like Street Fighter or Grand Blue where, like the highest level of play, like you're really seeing like, you're seeing that kind of, it almost reminded me of like that shimmy style, where you like poke someone, back up just a little bit, react. Okay, did they do something? Okay, do I reset my pressure or do I kind of wait for them to kind of bait something out? And, I felt like it's funny with Melee because there's kind of both ends of that spectrum. Like you can go really ham on somebody if they're blocking, but also I think, especially when you factor in the percents and how you got to be relative to just what your opponent's percent is and whether they get access to like CC out of shield and stuff like that. Because that's like the traditional way. Like if someone's going to nair your shield going to a gentleman, you let go of the trigger and then you hold down and you basically go for like CC shield grab. And it's like pretty safe to go for that. And yeah, to me, the fact that you won that mix up like 4 or 5 times, I was like, dude, that's crazy. But anyway. It's cool that you called in and asked this question, Mac, because in particular after Riptide, I was actually really thinking about this with regards to Captain Falcon.
Yeah, he's just that type of character where the play style really dictates what's going on.
Have you been thinking about this a lot recently, Mac? Like with your own improvement and stuff? Is this like something
I
that's
really
kind of
have? I really have. I'm like, because I have tried I'm trying everything out. I've taken everything into account, and now I've come to the conclusion I play really aggressive improvisational, just like off the wall until I get a lead, and then when I get a lead, I play like really slow and try and like just milk at the lead. Like just that's what I'm trying nowadays. I'm always interested in this conversation for sure.
That's dope. What do you think about that, PP?
This kind of leads me to something else. I wanted to take a slightly different angle on this question for S2J.
Please do.
And that was you were down against Zane 2-0 and you came back, and I think you were down against both the Sheiks and you made a really good comeback. I mean, you were down in that clip we saw with Plup, you down in that game, and you were down in the set, made a comeback. So I think there was a real theme of that for you. It almost seemed like I remember watching it, it seemed like you would radically switch up your game when things got really tough. You would make like big shifts. I would see more wave dashes. I would see more precision play, kind of like we were seeing there. I was kind of wondering, it doesn't sound like that's a conscious decision. It sounds more like you're just thinking, I got to clutch up. But I was wondering if there is anything like, you're like, okay, well now I have like a tactic, or now I have enough information, I'm going to use it. Or there was anything like that you considered. Basically, why do you think you made so many comebacks and all that?
I can't give. I don't know how to answer that concretely.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's a very valid question. I don't know. I think I'm just like a last stock sweater in general. And even like
Fair
friendlies,
enough.
I'm like kind of like try really fucking hard,
Yeah.
Dude.
All right. Fair enough.
Do you ever have the thing where you sit there and you're like, man, I wish I could play all my stocks as if they were last stock? Do you ever have that? You ever have that thought?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
When I'm getting like whoops, especially, yeah.
Dude, I remember. Oh god. For some reason, I always think about this. I remember I was fighting some Peach, and I think it was pools at some tournament, and I remember I was down 1 stock to 3, and I was like, bro, I really don't want to lose this game to this Peach. And I just started playing pretty lame, but not just lame, not just running away. I just started playing like really like don't get down smash, don't get dash tag, right? And I made the comeback and I won the game basically. And I thought to myself, like, how come I always gotta wait till I'm fucking last stock before I start playing like that? I don't know if that's just me. I have this thought all the time. I'm like, man, Why do I have to be last stock to start playing like that? Like, Jesus, like, why did I play like that on my first stock? Then I can play 4 stocks like that instead of only playing 1 stock. Anyway, I have this thought all the time. I think this is why I'll stay bad, but I just think it's funny. I always wonder if people can relate to that. I'm just like, dude, why? PB, you must have never had this. I feel like you don't have a single ounce of this in your body.
I've
You've
never
had this.
felt
you don't
this
need
in
to
my
tell me.
life. Nope.
Yeah, it's fine. I've seen. This is why you're a good player.
Well,
Dude.
I mean, we were just talking about S2J. I mean, I almost, it's interesting because I think I think something unique about him is he would have this clutch and then he would carry it into the next game. So it wasn't just
Yeah.
a last stock. It was like he had his one last stock and he's like, well, you better take this one because if not, I'm about to get 5 or 6 more of these last stocks. You're in trouble. And I think that was what I think was really exciting about a lot of that for me personally. So I think it was just a really cool thing to watch. But yeah, I'm always curious. You have anything? It sounds like it almost looks like you want to add something to that, Johnny. If not, it's fine.
No, I'm good. I'm actually good.
All right, we're good. We're done. Mech, thank you for calling in. Any shout outs
good
you'd like to
question,
give on
yeah.
your way out today?
Yeah, man, just shout outs to Johnny. I mean, come a long way. I think like literally inspired me to play Falcon a big part. Like I saw Hacks Money Scar combo videos, but that set against Lord, that really got me really excited. Like that round robin. And we've come a long way. I was at a tournament in 2016 and I actually like I looked up to Johnny, still do, and I was like, hey man, I want to go pro in this game. Like I really want to like take this game seriously. And he was like, I think you can do it, man. I think you can do it. I think Falcon can do it. And he bought me a shot of Jameson.
I said that. I did that.
Yeah, he said that.
Hey,
Damn,
let's
He
go.
said that.
Let's go.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You created a lot of good stuff.
It was
Jameson
dope,
is
man.
my shot drink of choice too, by the way. So big ups
Love
on the
Jameson,
Jameson. Yeah, love Jamie.
It's
Oh,
dope,
yeah.
man. It's dope, man. So keep up the good work and God bless, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'll see you at some other tournament.
Peace
Hell
out.
yeah.
Later, Mech.
All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Damn,
Cool
that's
to get
crazy.
Mech in. Yeah,
Got him
cool to get
back.
Mech in here.
Yeah.
Mech a big fan of the game. I love Mech's whole take on Melee. It's really refreshing.
That was fun.
Oh man.
All right.
We got more callers. We got
Yep, let's
people
bring 'em in.
waiting in the wings. We got looks like it's down. Do I just call you down? Is your tag down?
Downgrade
Falco?
Falco.
Yeah, whatever. It's downgrade Falco, but I don't mind anything. It's okay.
Sure.
Fair enough. Where are
is
you
up?
calling in from? What's your question for us today, gamer?
Yeah, I'm calling in from Berlin, Germany today.
Very
It's
nice.
a little bit late now, but
Mhm.
we staying up for Radio Melee.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Appreciate
fine.
that. Appreciate
And
that.
yeah, my question would be a question to all of you, like Johnny from playing and Toph and PP from watching.
Yeah.
Which players are your high pocket picks that are on the come up?
High pocket picks on the come
the
up.
guy
Okay,
to my
I'll just
right.
get out of the way. Yeah, Johnny for sure. I'll get out of the way. Jamix, the obvious one. You know, getting second and everything. He's gonna take a tournament eventually. That's the obvious one. Floor is yours. Definitely Johnny. Oh, this way. Floor is
Yeah.
you guys is Johnny for sure, especially after last weekend. I feel like if seriously, I mean, I don't know, like I like if you take that kind of momentum and you just run with it, I don't know. I feel like you could start winning majors. I don't know. Like I was very inspired. I think Johnny's definitely one of the people.
Actually, let me ask you this, S2J. Is there anything you feel like now? I'm certainly very excited watching you last weekend and everything. But I just just to keep things balanced a little bit, is there a matchup that you feel like that you still struggle with, like Falco or Mango in particular, or anything else that you feel like gives you a hard time? Because I might have said Sheik before last weekend, but I certainly wouldn't say that now. So what do you think?
What do I struggle most with? I'll never not hate playing Puff. I think Falcon might beat Puff for like the right strategy, but
It's a
the way I want to play,
yeah.
I think kind of meshes with like how I want to play against, or how you're supposed to play against Puff a little too much. It's just not fun for me, and I'm always like shitting my pants when I play like any level puff. So
Right.
probably
Fair
that
enough.
matchup. I think Spaces went back to being really tough. I thought at one point I had like an edge on all the Spaces, especially Fox. Now I'm like I'm like I wish I had a Fox every bracket, like every match in like a major bracket. Now I'm kind of like not looking forward to it now. So I'd say like Spaces got really hard again.
Mm.
And
Well, good news
yeah.
for you. Spaceys don't seem like they're making it as deep now, so you got that going for you.
Yep. And what else? It's hard all around, but
Yeah.
I think there's like that's slightly harder than the rest. So
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's totally fair. Is there any pocket pick that you think someone's going to be taking set soon? Like a lot of big names or anything like that? S2J?
Let me think. I got to give it up to Salt. I think Salt has like massive potential, and he plays really fast and crazy, and he just needs like to play more. That's my personal take.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
maybe have like a slight change in mentality, but I think he's already more than halfway there in terms of like what you need
Yeah.
to like take sets and like
Yeah. I've got
I
the
was-
summer rank right here. He's 34,
Oh, nice.
so a lot of room to move up.
Pretty good.
Mhm.
I always felt with Salt, like, that stuff we just talked about with Mech. Like, I felt like that was the one area. Mech said, like, he was like, oh, when I got a lead, I kind of try to shift gears on him and I play slow and I kind of milk the lead. When I watch Salt, I feel like I wish he did a little more of that stuff, because I feel like the one area when I watch Salt is like, he's fast, but he's always fast. Like, it's always, go, 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 go.
Right. Yeah.
And if he like, for example, like, I don't think I with the way I usually see Salt play, I could not, for example, see him making the comeback that you made against Plum. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
That's the kind of I feel like that's the area that if he gets that down, he's gonna be.
Yeah, just needs
I mean,
like a change of tempo mid set.
Yep.
Or like
Yep. That's how I
two
feel about
two
it.
styles of gameplay, and then
It's like
Master
the
Ball.
same thing. Gotta have that second style.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. I think my answer to this question would be because I was looking over the summer rank just to kind of get some idea of who might be taking more names. and
Yeah.
someone I think actually let me pull it up again real quick. Yeah, the person ranked
I got a good
one
answer, too.
one spot above Salt. I think is going to be my answer. It's Skurzo, the Fox from Chicago.
yeah.
I think he's really been coming up pretty fast lately. I think he's been taking a lot of names and he's been getting close in a lot of sets. He's been frequenting, I think top 64, top 32 of a lot of big events, and so I think you're going to be seeing more of him and getting better names and better wins soon. That's what it looks like for me.
Yeah, he's good. I played him in like friendlies. I think at like say Double Down, and he was tough. He was good. I haven't played him in bracket yet, but
Mhm.
I agree with that. His potential is there, definitely. For
He's
him.
definitely somebody, and I love
Yeah.
that he's a grinder. Like, I always got to shout out Skurzo for this. I thought it was so cool. At the last Riptide, I didn't go to this Riptide, but I went last year, which was the first major out of COVID, basically for a year and a half. Like, I hadn't been to a tournament in a year and a half. And Skurzo was somebody who we met up to warm up for bracket at like 8 a.m., like 7:30 or 8. Like, we met because we both had the 10 a.m. pools, and we both wanted to be like ready, and we were like, no, we're not gonna let early pools beat us this tournament. Like, we're not gonna. So I DM'd him and I was like, bro, I'm gonna go to bed early. Like, this was like Saturday morning, I guess, or is it Saturday? Yeah. And then because Sunday was top 8, yeah. So Saturday morning, and I was like, dude, let's meet up at like 8 a.m. in the ballroom and just grind friendlies for 2 hours so that we're warmed up by 10 a.m. And we actually did that, and I think it worked pretty well. We both we played pretty good. But I'll always remember that. I'm like, people that are down to do that, they're gonna go places. Skurzo's a really good answer. I'm gonna also pick a Fox because this is somebody who I've had my eye on for a little while now, basically since COVID, since the net play era. But somebody I think everyone knows is pretty damn good, but in my opinion, hasn't made the splash that I think they're capable of yet. To me, is Sunsei. Sunsei's somebody where.
Yeah, he's good.
Right? I'm like, dude, I watched Sunsei. I'm like, bro, you should already be like a top 15 player.
That's a
Like,
smart
you should
guy.
be. Yeah, he's smart. His tech skills amazing. I also just like talking to him. He's just like a really well-spoken dude.
Cool.
Like, I know he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's fucking good. Like he could beat anybody. Like I've never watched a set, but like I felt like the first couple tournament sets that I would watch him play these super top players, like it felt like he was doing really good and then kind of choking them. And to me, like you know how like Sora, well, Josh Man back when he was Sora, how he was like he came to that one summit, a Summit 11 or whatever, and we were all like, okay, yeah, I mean, this guy looks good. Like you can tell watching him, this guy looks good. But he was choking to Kadoran, he was choking these game fives, and it was like, okay, he hasn't beaten any of these top players, but like we were all pretty sure, like this guy could definitely beat basically any of these guys. Like, you know, like he's kind of due. That's how I've been feeling about Sensei for like a year now, at least. So Sensei is my answer. I'm waiting for that guy to pop off.
Yeah. He kind of is already, except he hasn't been competing as much. He did beat me at Battle at BC. Like, and you did say he was a choker. Like,
oh yeah.
I remember going to game 5. I'm like, he's a choker. I got this, you know. And like, he like 3-stocked me. He just like totally owned me game 5.
Oh shit.
I was like, wow, he didn't choke at all.
Unbelievable.
Fuck. That was after you beat Moki, right?
Yeah. I beat Moki.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's really good. I wanted to see him go to more stuff. Definitely seems like the kind of guy that, you know, I'm waiting for him to beat, you know, he's gonna. I feel like he's the kind of guy that could have like a S2J at Riptide run or like a Josh Man at Gommel run. I feel like he could have one of those for sure. You know, definitely be going places.
Yeah. It wouldn't shock me. See how it takes.
Yeah.
Well,
Downgrade Falco, I know. So Downgrade Falco was in my chat and said, "Uh-oh, my PC literally blue screen. I'm coming back." So Downgrade Falco, are you there? You're back. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm
like
here.
you never
I'm
left.
all listening. All good. Thank you for waiting. I'm really satisfied with all the answers you've given. I think Sunsei and Swords are very good picks. In my answer would have been Magi. I think she's not quite there yet to take tournaments, but I think she has improved a lot, and I really like the set against Ginger. I think her movement was really clean in this set. And yeah, I'm really hoping
watch that
to
set.
see
I'm
a
gonna
lot
watch
of
that
her.
shit today.
Oh, it's a really good set. I would recommend you to watch it. And yeah, I would like to see more of her.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Good pick.
Well, hey, good discussion, good question. You got any shout outs for us on your way out today, Downgrade Falco?
Yeah, I'd shout out my boy Ringler. He's like the most insane guy on Twitter. I don't know, like just follow him. Like like I don't even know how to think about him, but yeah, shout outs to this guy. And shout outs to Smash Berlin.
Yeah, for sure.
Smash Berlin. Do you guys have a Twitch channel, YouTube channel, anything like?
Yeah, there's
for the locals?
I don't know about YouTube how active it is, but there's Twitch VODs of our local every Thursday, and yeah, you can watch that on twitch.tv/Berlin Smash.
There you are.
Twitch.tv/Berlin Smash. Everybody drop a follow and you'll have some spicy German melee to watch. Probably at, you know, time zones that, or if there's a time of day that there isn't much melee going on. That's the cool thing about, you know, I follow like the Australian, like the Melbourne locals now, and it's cool because like if it's ever late night and there's nothing else to watch, I'm like, wait a minute, I could watch an Australian tournament right now. That's the best part. So you guys all got to follow that channel, Berlin Smash. If we remember, we'll put it in the description. No promises though. I don't want to put more work on our YouTube people. But
that's a deal I'm willing to take.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, take care.
Come by. I'll say hi. I'll say hi in the chat.
Thanks.
Peace out, Downgrade Falco.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right. So we've got time for one more, at least. We'll kind of see how it goes. But hello, Snap. Welcome to the program. Where are you calling in from? What's your question for us today?
Hello. I'm calling in from Georgia. And my question is, do you think best 2 out of 3s measure different skill sets in comparison to best 3 out of 5s? Just to kind of elaborate, like maybe high risk or cheesy playstyles may lead to like the upset in the 2 or 3s, whereas people like to, who like to data collect may be rewarded more out of the longer sets. Or do you think it's just more static where, set play and solid game plan just win out no matter what?
Well, let's see. This guy was down 2-0 and then reverse 3-0'd Zane last weekend. So no bias, but what do you think, S2J?
Definitely. I think it's a different skill set. I want to say it's like better or worse necessarily, but yeah, I think a lot more people. It's like a difference of mentality, like people are like, oh, it's 2 out of 3, and I'm fighting like my matchup I hate, or like a puff, or what used to be like Wild Wing Icy's, like a lot of that really tests like your mentality, I think. Like, am I going to be pissed off going into it, or am I going to choke harder, or can I like swing it around and like maybe do some crazy shit game 1, and then like steal a game off someone that's supposed to be better. So to me, there's a lot going into like 2 out of 3s. I wouldn't say it's like creatively worse. It's more like a different skill set, you know. But I'd say best of 5 is better all around. Long story short.
What do you think, Toph?
I think, yeah. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, the better player, if you got one guy who's this good and you got one guy who's this good, like this guy is gonna win both the best of 3 and the best of 5, probably because he's gonna 2-0 the guy in the best of 3 and he's gonna 3-0 the guy in the best of 5. But yeah, mentality wise, for sure, that can definitely be a thing. Like winning or losing game 1 feels really different in a best of 3 than a best of 5. Like sometimes you win game 1 in a best of 5 and you're kind of like, like you win game 1 in a best of 3 and like, you're kind of like on the cusp of winning the set, and it feels different. Best of 5, it feels like, it's like sometimes, I'll play like a top player and I'll get game 1 and I'm kind of like, all right, here we go. And they're about to power up on me. That's definitely happened to me more times than I can count. And vice versa. Like I've done that to lesser players too. Like there's definitely more time to adapt. More time to find your groove. People say adapt, but yeah, literally even just like almost like warm up, like like some matchups where you got to play a little bit more unorthodox, whatever. Having a little bit more time to acclimate can help. And I think like Johnny said, it is often a mentality thing too. Like even if you don't necessarily need that time to acclimate, like the comfort in a way, it like the set, knowing that the set's not going to be over if you just like SD 2 games or whatever, if you have a bad break 2 games, like knowing that they have to beat you in a best of 5 in a weird way can make you more confident, and it can make you kind of trust yourself more. At least that's kind of what I observe. Cause at the end of the day, like, yeah, a lot of the time, the person who would have won the best of 3, in other words, the person who wins the first 2 games, like, or goes up 2-1, like usually they win the set. Obviously there's counterexamples, like Johnny made a 3-0 comeback against Zane. But mathematically speaking, most of the time, if you go up 2-1 or you go up 2-0, usually that's the person that's going to win the set anyway. But it definitely feels really different. And then I also think from a practical standpoint for Melee, obviously, answering this question wouldn't be complete if we didn't talk about counter picks. Because counter picks are really different too, right? Like,
yeah.
In a best of 5, there's no bans. So like, for example, like certain matchups, like for me, are like fundamentally different. Like if I fight a Marth in a best of 3, and I have a good example of this because the last local I went to, I had to beat Arcadia in both pools and in bracket, and he's a really good Marth from NorCal. And in pools, like it felt a lot easier because it was best of 3, and I just banned FD. And his counterpick, he had to take me to stadium, and like I'm very comfortable on stadium, so like that is very different than the dynamic in a best of 5 where he's going to go FD. Obviously, that's a stronger counterpick for Marth. And then on the flip side, okay, I have Dreamland as well, but people talk about, like, you hear top players talk about like the momentum aspect of it, and this is where like I'm really interested in your thoughts, PP, because you've been through a lot of different eras of this kind of stuff, and obviously you've competed at like the level where you're playing mostly like against the other top players. It felt like mostly you're playing best of 5s, but I know you had those crazy best of 3s with Armada. Like I remember that fucking Evo, you had to play Armada, dude. Yeah. I never, by the way, I'm just going to take a little Toph tangent here. I never thank you for that because literally that set launched me in Scar's career because
oh wow.
Here's the thing. You guys played, it was like not even top 64 winners.
Yeah, we played early.
You played early. It was like outside, like if the loser got double eliminated, you were getting like 65th or something. And so, me and Scar that year, we weren't that established. We didn't do top 8s back then. We did, we were like the guys that they bring in to do top 64s and stuff, right? So we were like, oh, we get to do a PP Armada set? That's crazy. We better commentate the shit out of this one. And so And so, you know, like I feel like, and then that video got hella views.
Yeah,
and I
it
feel like
did.
we did a good job of the commentary, and then I felt like people started liking us after that.
Cool.
But that shit launched our career. So good shit to Evo for seeding for really not seeding that tournament.
Yeah. Shout out to Evo.
Evo 2013 for people who are wondering. But anyway, PP, I want to hear your take on it because I'm kind of talking out of my ass.
About the momentum you were saying?
Yeah, just the mindset, like how it, like the feel, like the, yeah, like does it feel different? Do you feel more pressure to like adapt faster, or do you feel like the counter pick thing matters as much as people talk about? Or
there is that. I know I think that sort of thing only comes into play if I'm playing someone that I know is good, but I haven't played them, or they're a rising player. It's like, oh, I haven't worked on this matchup as much as I needed to, and now there's someone good, and it's a 2 out of 3, and you're like, ugh, and you don't like that as much. But if you're like 3 of 5, it's like, okay, well, I've got more time. And the 3 of 5 is just like the fluffy extra cushion. But I've kind of been, of the take that one of the main things that I think 3 of 5s test differently than 2 out of 3s is endurance. Because often,
yeah,
especially in floaty matchups, but even in general, like if you're playing against spaces, you have to have these tight, really fast reactions, and you have to keep doing it. And there's these situations that are fast, and you're just always on, and you're always responding, and it's always fast. That's still a drain. That's still a different type of endurance test. Falcon tech chasing, you have to stay on for all of that, for example, right? So I think doing that longer, I think, is also difficult, and that's something that's not talked about. And I don't know if I necessarily think that is always better, for example. But I understand why, a lot of people like it more. So for me, I always felt like we have 4 stocks, 8 minutes, and we're going to get at least 2 games. We're probably going to be 3 if it's like the people are somewhat comparable in skill, or the counter pick, even with the ban, goes one way. So I've always thought you get enough interactions to adapt as long as you use them enough. And so I've not been too partial in an outward view on it. And I think once I started having that sort of view on the game, and I started being able to adapt a little better myself, because at one point in time, I certainly wasn't that great at adapting, and I had to consciously work on it. But then after I got better at it, I felt like, oh yeah, now that I don't have so much concern about 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5, now I feel like, oh, I can go into this and I can feel more comfortable, and like I do have enough time, and there is enough information there. Because usually, like, it's not a scenario where you get the information and then it's 4 stocks to 1. You're like, okay, well now I have to, win the next game with the, like, usually you can turn things around sooner. Or you can make guesses, or you can make assumptions, or you've played players enough to where they bring a new thing and it's different, but not so different. And so I've just not been so partial to that. I still think that, I understand why 3 out of 5s is the gold standard. I'm still okay with that. But I don't know, the 2 out of 3 being against it is, I've always felt like that was a little much personally, given our rule set.
Okay.
Now, I think if we reduce stock count or anything else, then I think, yeah, we would change it. But that's just my feeling.
But you're not on the Leffen side of like,
No.
bring up Leffen because
No.
Leffen is the classic, like, oh,
Right.
everything should be best of 5.
Right.
Okay, but I'm gonna put this to the test. I'm gonna hit you with a thought experiment.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
So we're gonna see if your buddies worry about this.
Okay.
You have to sit down. You got to play Mewtwo King. You got to play Jason right now in tournament, and you have to beat him or your whole family dies or something.
Not playing Jason on FD would be great. So
what's your answer? You get to pick. Do you want to play him in a best of 3 or a best of 5?
Honestly, not playing it. I mean, 3 out of 5 is good for adaptation, but 2 out of 3 would be kind of funny because I wouldn't have to play.
Well, pick one. Pick one. You have to win. You have to win.
But they're both good for different reasons. I mean, if I have to pick one, I'd pick 3 out of 5, I guess. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
What's the reason for best of 3 that you might pick best of 3?
I wouldn't have to get momentums by getting hacky sacked on FD.
Right. That's a good point. Well, then I'm gonna ask this question to Johnny just to complete the loop. Johnny, if you had to play, I don't know, fucking. I'm trying to think of somebody. You gotta play. Who's somebody? It'd have to be someone you kind of a matchup you at least hate. Let's say Spark. You have to play Spark right now. Would you want a 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5?
3 out of 5. That question.
Again, opposed to a 3 out of 5 being the gold standard. I think that's fine.
Right.
I just think we overdo the 2 out of 3 hate.
That I agree with. Yeah,
I agree with that. Too.
Yeah.
We can at least meet there. Where we go from that,
Yeah.
I think is its own nuance. But at least if we can settle there, I'm okay with.
People talk about like it doesn't count. You know, people. Are like,
Yeah, I think that's crazy.
People are like, oh, but it was 2 out of 3. That shit doesn't count. I'm like, well, I mean, you should have won those games then. What the? Like, it doesn't not count anyway. Yeah, I agree. I fully agree with that.
Well, someone I would hate to play best of 5 would probably be like Fiction, because that guy fucking lasers in place on FD like 500 lasers in one match.
The stamina thing,
which that's totally valid, and I'm not going to cry about it, but
that's hard.
That's a pain. It's tough. Yeah, Fiction plays it well. So
yeah,
it's like the one example I could think of that like hate a little bit for best of 5, but I still rather play best of 5. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's totally fair. Totally fair.
That's a good call.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Fiction will love to hear about this and tweet about it later. Let's all look forward to that. But yeah, Snap, thank you so much. I think this was a good discussion because I think this hasn't been brought up before.
Yeah.
But thank you for this. You got any shout outs for us on your way out today?
Not really. Just support your local scene. Locals are dope. So, yeah, that's about it. All right, thanks for your input, guys.
All right, thank you. Take care.
All right, peace.
Take care. All right. I don't know if we got time for one more. Do we have time for one more?
No, we're not doing any more. I was checking with production in the middle of
Got
that.
it.
So
Okay.
I've got a couple things I could ask Mr. S2J. I don't know what he's interested in, but I think we'll make it quick and we'll get out of here. I think I'll do probably 2. And my first one is about, there's so much talk about being a brand now and being a personality and all this stuff. And I think you generally keep it more low key. I know you stream. You are streaming right now at twitch.tv/S2J. If anyone wants to go give him a follow, drop him a sub. He's been popping off in the tourney. Come on, support this man, gamers. But also, are you thinking about trying to do more content? I know you do stuff with Beast Coast, but are you thinking about trying to do more content? I think a lot of people like your personality and probably be interested to hear your thoughts on things. And I was wondering what you think about any of that.
Yeah, I got some bigger projects in the works, and I do want to do more content in general. But for me, it's like I have like some kind of ADHD. I'm like, I want to do this, and then like I'm honestly just making excuses, and like I could just say, oh, I'm busy, that's why I didn't do it. But I just gotta like sit there and try to force myself, I guess. But I do want to do more content, generally speaking, and I do have big plans individually and with my great team Beast Coast. So I guess stay tuned for the future, and hopefully you guys like it.
Cool.
Sick.
Yeah, because I think people would like to see more of that. And I guess to follow up on that real quick, does it almost sounds like for some of the stuff that you do by yourself, it almost sounds like you don't think it's fun to do it, like you have to force yourself to sit there, like you wouldn't enjoy it, just to clarify.
No, I wouldn't say it's like, oh, I think it's not fun, so fuck this. No, it's not like that. It's just like I have ideas, I like write it down, and I'm like, these are sweet ideas, and then I just don't do them. I'm just like
but if you started doing it, you would enjoy it. You just don't start.
Yeah, enjoyment is not the problem. It's just like I have like almost a lot of things in life. I'm just like
yeah. I mean, you're working out, you're getting buff, you're beating everyone.
It's like that. It's like that meme of the. It's a slightly older meme, but it's that cat. For some reason, there's like that cat, and he's like reading a newspaper, drinking some tea or something. And he's like, I should buy a boat. It's just like sometimes you kind of have this idea that you want to do something. I should really do that one of these days. And it'll be enjoyable. It's just you just kind of don't get around to it, for whatever reason. I totally feel that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think once Melee kind of winds down, like these upcoming months are kind of crazy, But I'll definitely like step it up. I promise that.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, looking forward to that, guys. What's your YouTube channel so we can shout you out there too?
It is Johnny Kim SSBM.
Johnny Kim SSBM.
Yeah.
You guys can sub to that.
Yeah.
Well, one more question. And then we're gonna ask you for the community voice, and then we'll get you on your way. But if there's one thing I think we've talked about today a decent amount, one theme that's come up a lot from other people or from you is what's sick. What's sick in Melee? What either whether it's you do that's sick or what you think is sick or not sick, all that stuff. And so I kind of wanted to know. I mean, from someone who's widely regarded as one of the sickest Melee players, what is the sickest thing in Melee?
Sickest thing in Melee? I'd say it's the game, in spite of the fact that it hasn't changed since 2001 when it came out. Like, it's just constantly evolving. The metagame's constantly evolving. Like, it's very fluid and dynamic, and it smokes all these games like League of Legends where they gotta like patch it every 2 days. Once like one
I don't know.
subsection of people like complain and cry,
Yeah.
like,
I'm
oh,
here for it.
let's just like nerf it. Imagine like Melee if they like passed it a lot. If once
Oh,
people,
and man, but people, we went through puff phases, we went through Marth phases, we went through all kinds of phases in the community. We were our own patch.
Wobbling was the only patch. Wobbling was the
Well,
only thing we patched out.
yeah.
But
Sure.
whatever.
Were
Yeah,
you
I
guys
agree.
say something?
Who?
I think someone wanted to interject. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no,
but-
no.
I thought that
you are
was-
the guest of honor. We want you to speak. So
Okay.
any thoughts you have, we're very interested in them.
Okay. That's probably my number one answer. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yeah.
still play this game and not get bored of it. I've been playing. We've all been playing, watching for a long time, but
Yeah,
the game's
yeah.
still so fresh. Like
Yeah.
what are games like that? Not many. Off
Not
the top of my
many.
head.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. Well, let's see. Slightly related, because I think this would be an interesting thing to hear you answer. What's the sickest thing in life?
sickest thing in life.
Yeah.
That's a question.
Let me think.
He's pondering. He's accessing everything. Again, this is like
I don't know
if
how
you
I would answer
experience
this.
it, you're like, man, this is the greatest. Like you just get such a rush, or whatever just encapsulates that full feeling of sickness.
Mm-hmm.
I think inquiring minds would love to know.
I don't know, man. I don't give a lot of stock to this question.
All right, fair
So-
enough. Fair enough.
I don't want to give you like a trite answer like, oh, life is what you make of it.
Okay, well that's also
Mhm.
fair. I don't usually ask questions like this on the show, so we don't usually get answers like that, but that's fine.
Yeah. Shit, I don't know. What do you guys think is the sickest thing in life? I got nothing.
Sickest thing in life for me
Yeah.
is love.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
Easy answer. But it might not be necessarily what I think of as like super like cool in the same way. So I might have to adjust my answer based on that.
Aha.
But
Depends on your definition of sick.
I'm such a love stan.
I like
and
when good things happen to good people. That's the sickest thing in life. I like when good people are rewarded
Mm.
for their contributions. That makes me happy. Because there's a lot of in life. There's a lot of not bad people, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of luck, right? There's a lot of luck in the universe. And I like when it works out that. I like when it works out that the people who are grinding and going another way to be nice to people get rewarded by the universe. That makes me happy.
yeah.
Usually it's completely random.
I think I'll pivot mine if I want to think about something that's like super sick and gets me really hyped. I'm gonna say that it would be, and it's always a situation like this, and it's not something that like you'll know it, but it's not something you can ever like really, I guess, like force and create. But it's like you're always with like a group of dudes, and like something happens that no one expects, and you all pop off. Or it's like you challenge someone to something random, like, oh, you can't jump off this, or you can't backflip off this, or whatever, or you can't do this in game, or do this in game right now, or what. And someone does it, and everyone pops off, and maybe it's dumb, and like we're just faking the hype, but it still feels cool because you're all faking it or whatever. So I don't know, something like that. I think is also sick and hype in its own way. Like just people popping off for stuff together. I think it's just always it's like a timeless classic. I'll always think that's pretty fun.
I like that.
Yeah, I kind of concur with both of you guys' answers. I guess I really just like like the friendship camaraderie aspects. Like even for like a game like Melee, we can all like
Mhm.
we all come from different walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can all like unite for like this game, and like we got every spectrum of like nerds and degens,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
a
we
wide
got 'em
range on the
covered.
planet. So that's really sick in itself. We got
Yeah.
shit like that.
For sure, man.
It's like they say the best part of going to a tournament is the Denny's that you eat with everybody after the tournament. It doesn't have to be Denny's, but to me, Denny's is Denny's is the one that comes to mind. We've all been there. The food's
Yeah.
not even that good, but it's not about the food.
No, it's not. I mean, I've met a lot of cool people, a lot of different, interesting people through Melee, so I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
That's been wonderful. So that's a wonderful answer. But thank you for letting me pick your brain on that. I know it was a weird question, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask you one more, S2J. But this time, it's one that you knew was coming. It's the community voice. It is the question that only you can ask to the YouTube audience, and they will have to answer it for next week's episode. It can be serious, it can be funny, whatever it is. But what do you want to ask the people right now, S2J?
I was gonna go with it kind of tied into a question earlier, but I'm gonna stick to it, and that is who do you guys think is like will pop off in the future, like an up and comer, or like my answer was Salts, but I'm really want to see what like the YouTube viewers and whatnot, like I want to see what you guys think, so.
Yeah, we had good discussion on it, but yeah, it'd be good to see what the people think. Who do they have an eye on? It's very exciting. You got any input on it, Toph?
I think the answer I gave earlier was Sunsei. I think Sunsei for sure is a good one. It does kind of depend what level you're talking about, right? Because you had like Magi. Again, not someone I think could win a major per se, not yet, but definitely someone who's making waves. Had that win on Plup at CEO, that was pretty big. Anyone who can take a set off Plup, that's like pretty substantial. And Johnny, obviously, there's been a couple times. Sure. I think it's cool. Well, for me, I think it's really cool. We actually see this a lot. We see people like the Magi tier. I think jumping from that tier, like the top 25 to top 20 to like the top 15, top 10, that jump happens pretty frequently. But I say it's very rare that people jump from the top 15, top 10 level to like can win a major. And I think part of the reason everyone was popping off for like, for example, Jmook, was it felt like the most recent time that someone made that jump, where it was like, oh, this dude can just win majors now. Not that he's done it yet, but like, probably will. I think there's been a couple moments where this has happened over the last couple of years. Amsa is somebody who I feel like is kind of in that midst. And I feel like, after last weekend, like I would say that Johnny might be due. So going to be rooting for you. Because it feels like you...
Thanks.
Feels like you, the way I see it is like you have a run like Riptide. It's like two things can happen. It's like either people look back and they go, oh, that was that Riptide run, or it was just the start of the momentum and that momentum train keeps going. So I'm hoping for you that train keeps going and we don't even remember Riptide because next time it's going to be third place and second. Okay. Not that it's literally one placing each time, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. But yeah.
Hey, well said. Thanks for holding it down, Toph. Always appreciate it. Of course. Thank you so much, S2J, for coming on, sharing your insight. I think a lot of people are glad to hear what you had to say today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on and all that. So it's really fun. Yeah, great time.
Love it. And thank you guys all out there for watching. Oh, go ahead, Toph.
Hey, if all of y'all want to hear more Johnny, we had S2J. I know not everyone listening to this episode has seen it. So y'all should check out the Falcon Roundtable we did. We had Johnny on. We had Nunn on. We had a couple top Falcons talking about top Falcon stuff. It was a pretty riveting discussion. So, and that video is on our YouTube somewhere. Go search up Golden Gardens Melee. Just wanted to plug that because I know that was the last time we had Johnny on something, and it was pretty fun. So
yeah, for sure. He crushed it then too, just like now. Well, hey,
Good
thank you
timing.
guys.
My fire alarm's going off.
Okay, well, Toph's out of here. We're all out of here. Thank you guys for calling in. We'll see you next week. Radio Melee signing out.